how it was for you to be filmed by Brendan. Like, what actually was the biggest benefit for you in talking about your life for an hour or over an hour with Brendan?
I wasn't really talking about my life. It was kind of just, like I said before, just, I felt so comfortable with Brendan, and that I never sort of deep and profound sort of questions or anything, but just watching just the stream of conversation just sort of went where it went, really.
And where did it go?
Oh, just all over the place, really.
And so why did you like doing that? What was the good thing about that?
I think there's always a part, there has been a part of me that kind of makes myself invisible a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess somebody else being interested, it's a little bit like that. Could, I don't know, people say because I'm a Leo, you want to be out there a bit, and I've never kind of done that, really.
So it sort of opened you up.
Maybe it's my Leo-ness that, wants to be recognised. There are parts of me that have always wanted to be kind of acknowledged, or, and that was part of it, the problems in my relationship with you, wasn't it, really? That I was always looking for a pat on the head. Oh, Bruce, you've done a good job. Whereas and that was one of the wonderful lessons you gave me, Wendy. Like it was about, it's just me and my little ego, really, nothing to do with you. Yeah, because I know when I've watched films and, you get to the end of the film and the person's who's never been acknowledged, they're suddenly acknowledged at the end, and I know those sorts of films always affect me, or there's some recognition of the person at the end that hasn't happened before. So maybe that's what that means to me. It'd be interesting to watch it for myself. I would like to see it before I carp it. Yeah, just to see if Brendan was going anywhere with it, but it didn't feel like it when he was doing the interview. But as I said, it was very broken because I had to stop and vomit every now and again.
So the main benefit for you, from what I've just heard you say, in him filming you, was just being able to have that regard for you as a person.
Yeah, just being curious, just letting me babble on, I guess.
And did you get some insights about yourself while you were doing that?
No, not particularly, only just what I never even thought about it before, that, there was probably, it did feel warm doing it because when we all like to be listened to, don't we, really?
Yeah.
We all like somebody to hear us. So, I hadn't thought about it before, but that's probably true, yeah.
Do you think it made a difference? Like if you'd been filmed by him 4 years ago?
Oh, it would have been totally different. I said to Brendan, I would never have done this 6 months ago. I wouldn't have done it 3 months ago. Even like this, what we're doing now, I would never have done it. I just would have refused.
Because,
I don't know, it's like, I don't know, in my family you were taught to keep a very low profile and not to, I think it's a bit in the Australian culture, is not to be, a tall poppy, even if, you're quite maybe brilliant in some sphere, that's Australian culture I'm talking about, because I'm not quite brilliant, but if you had some thing that you're really good at, you never sort of put it out there or told anyone, it was so about just being an ordinary person, and
and you somehow took that on. And
Yeah. I think all Australians have got a little chunk of it. And that's one of the things I learned from you, because you're quite a little bit different because you've had European parents, I think. You haven't had to, and your parents acknowledged you, from what you've told me. So,
So so I'm just trying to get at it, like, why is it that now that you know that you are where you are, you know, in your life, you're facing death,
Yeah.
why were you willing to talk about it now? Or to have the interview now?
I don't know, it's a hard question. Well, just, you know, you're near the end, you can't prove anything, or just, you know, you're at the end of the rope, really. You know, nothing matters anymore, you know, like really nothing does matter. So it's just about what will be, you know. So what'll bubble out of my mouth will just bubble out. And it's like, it's not coming from a thinking mind. It's not planned out. You know, I'm not sort of thinking what should shoot out of my mouth or anything. It's just what is effusing, if that's the correct word, is just happening.
How does it feel being at the end of your rope?
It's okay, you know, like, you know, I'm sort of, there are parts of me are a bit disappointed, you know, because I would have liked this. And I am starting to see things, you know, things that wound me up in this life, and a lot of that was about making money, you know, and I thought, yeah, that's a kind of grinding energy that may pull me, you know, if you believe in the Buddhist philosophy, being pulled back into a new life, I would kind of, it would be interesting to be churned over again and sort of, whatever you're carrying.
Have another go fixing that up.
Yeah, that whole thing. And it was not about, you know, so it was never about the money. It was just about getting good at something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wouldn't use the word successful. Well, that popped into my mind, but that's not the right word. It's just about, you know, like you playing mandolin, Graham. You know, it's about just practicing and getting good at something.
So looking back and being at the end of your rope, one of the things that you've noticed is that you've had a lot of emphasis on being successful in your life. Anything else? Or not successful, but doing something well?
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle. And I mean, Linda went through that. Linda saw quite clearly that, you know, I'd alternate between two parts of myself. One was about wanting to be successful, and the other was wanting to just have adventures and be lazy. You know, and it's interesting that, like today, I was talking to Linda about it. You know, and I mentioned it here, I think. It was about, you know, I feel like I'm a naturally lazy person. So death is the ultimate laziness. You don't have to do anything, you know. It's kind of like, you just is not, you don't have to worry about anything.
So are you beating yourself up about that?
About
being the ultimately being a lazy person and death being the ultimate laziness?
Excuse me.
Because lazy sounds like, to me, that it's a beat up of you.
It could be a little bit. You know, there's parts of me where I could feel guilty about it, and there's and I think that was the part. You know, like when Linda put up with this for years. You know, me trying to be successful, making money, but I wasn't. I was tackling it from the wrong headspace, and I can't even think of the right headspace. But it's like, I think it was part of it then was about greed and wanting to be recognised, wanted to be, you know, the star, you know, know, or wanting to be acknowledged.
I think you beat yourself up a lot too.
Okay, yeah.
And all that sort of holding back and not speaking up and even not taking food, like when there's a whole bunch of people, you'll always hold back and be the last one.
Yeah.
To, you know,
Take
that's...
the smallest piece.
Huh?
And always take the smallest piece.
Yeah, there's something going on there that, you know, wasn't resolved. I don't know if it is now, but it's what I saw.
It's not, but that's part of the attraction of death, really, is because I can just let that all go. I won't have to worry about that anymore. You know, it's all gone.
I would still love to see you be able to receive more. easily.
Yeah, that's really
But I don't
hard.
want to judge you for that either. I
Yeah.
just find that it's hard to give you anything.
But yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah.
and people just want to give you everything now. I mean, people love you, Bruce. But, you know, I don't want to judge you for that either.
No, it's true. I mean, Linda would, you know, just I was getting some food in the kitchen. Linda'd come up behind me and sort of stroke my back, and she'd say, you know, because I think Linda's always known I'd push her away because it's kind of like, I don't know why I'd push her away, but a little bit of, you know, I'd have to respond in kind or something, and maybe I didn't want to. So Linda would be maybe giving me a backstroke, and she'd say, well, you know, because she'd know I'd kind of push her away, and so she would say, oh, is that enough or something? And I'd say, yeah, that's enough, where I'd kind of be loved for someone to, you know, massage my back for the next hour, really. But I say no, you know. I just can't take it. Well, can't, yeah, it is part of it's hard.
You're uncomfortable receiving.
Yeah.
Well, it's threatening to open up the knee too much too, isn't it? I think we all have that caution.
You do so much for so many people, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's true. You've done so much for other people. We all know that.
But they're little things, you know, they're little things that anybody would do, really.
But anybody doesn't do them. You've done them.
They're timely things or they're important things in people's lives.
Yeah, like helping all those different women to be able to buy houses. That's been huge for all of them.
Yeah.
That's hardly little.
Yeah, but I didn't have to do anything, you know, I just encourage people. So, yeah.
Well, encouraging other people is one of your gifts.
Yes, it's a gift.
Anyway, I think we'd all, you know, when we get to the end of our lives, we all, you know, you're all going to go through what I go through, but
Well, you're leading the way for us.
but I guess it's kind of, I do a sort of, even though it's, you know, I don't have any pain. I mean, I've got this swallowing thing, which has given me lots of experiences, and they're not actually fun experiences. You know, like now, I'm feeling there's food half blocked down and just stuck there, won't go anywhere. It's not really comfortable. I'm feeling quite uncomfortable now, but there's always something in it, and it's like instead of me just dying in my bed one night, I'm getting 18 months to sort of monitor what's going on for me emotionally, and just I'm getting a real good chance to sort of experience what it is to sort of die.
Slowly.
Yeah. But, well, really, you know, the first 12 months there was no effect, really, was there? You know, like, it's all fairly recent. And it's a bit of a surprise now that it feels like I'm going down quite quick.
So why do you think that's a gift? I think I'd prefer to
well,
die in my
yeah,
sleep.
but mate, what,
And most
Oh.
people would.
what's that?
Most people I'd say I would prefer, and I think most people would say I'd like to die in my sleep, you know, rather than sort of slowly deteriorate.
I think I would have too, but have said that. Because I used to think if I did have to die, I thought, you know, I used to think, well, I'd take the easiest option, and that's to be die of hypothermia. Easiest because you just, you know, I remember, you know, I've told you all that story of going for a trek with Linda and Wendy, not
One of those women.
Jenny.
I've always been doing that.
Jenny,
Bruce.
Jenny, not Linda or Wendy.
I don't have long blonde hair. Oh, actually, I do have blonde hair, don't I, these days?
You know, and having that, you know, it was only, I could have easily just laid down and gone to sleep. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. And, you know, would have never woken up again, you know. But when I saw it really it was like, oh yeah, but just drift off here.
So why is this better?
Well, I've got the chance to do what I'm doing now, really. Just think about it and try and put all the pieces together, really. You know, and I was fortunate enough, and I think it was, well, both Jenny and Linda kind of gave me a bit of a spiritual kick, you know. And I'd had some experiences when I was quite young, which I never explained, and they'd been finally explained to me. What, you know, those infant or childhood experiences were about. Yeah, which kind of led me on a path to wondering what the hell is all this about, really.
So what is it about?
I don't know what it's all
Oh,
about.
I thought you'd have the answers at this stage.
But see, what comes to me when you say that, Bruce, is you say these people have given you a bit of a spiritual kick.
Yeah.
But what I see you in is just this life energy that is Bruce, that doesn't need any explanations. It just is your
manifestation.
spiritual engagement in
Yes.
life, which is still in your eyes, you know,
Very nice.
no matter how tired you are, there's this aliveness in your eyes that's just you.
It's Bruce.
And that's still there, and that's doesn't seem to be fading in the slightest bit. You know, you'll take an interest in the moment, and you're a very in the moment person, and that's what I've always loved about you. You're right in the moment,
Yeah.
responding with spontaneity and joy and interest and engagement. And I don't know that you needed any. Well, if there was anything you got out of that spiritual sort of awareness, that's great. But I don't think the essence of you needed it. I don't think you are dependent on a sort of, this is what's going to happen after death. I mean, I just sit here wanting you to sort of hold on to one of those things you call fairy stories. It's just my desire. Because you are a very imaginative person too. So I wish you'd sort of imagine a bit more.
I'm not sure what you mean by after death, you mean? Or,
Yes, and I mean, well, that's sort of partly the bigger meaning of life too.
But I think for me that's, I mean, you're right, but it's for me, I've actually, because I've kind of explored all these different teachers coming from different religions and, you know, Buddhist philosophy, and and you can see there's a common element, and it's always about, none of us will ever know what the hell it's all about, but don't try and work it out too much, don't take it too seriously. Just enjoy, you know, the Sufi stories, they just come again and again. It's about a very simple guy, you know, and just enjoying and making the most of life, really.
Being in the moment,
And
as Linda said.
and not trying to, analyse it or anything, which I can to get into that and try to analyse things, but it's just a waste, pointless exercise, really.
So this 6 months that you've talked about of, you know, where you are aware that you're going or you're heading in the direction of dying,
Yeah.
the most valuable lesson for you during that time as well is to just be in the moment.
Well, yeah, and just like going, like initially I thought, I've got to read all the last spiritual books, you know, so David Wallace. Oh, wow, yeah, look. There's 2 of them.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Second sea eagle.
Flat. Middle one.
Is the other one.
I
Amazing.
knew the sea eagle was talking to you, Bruce.
Yes.
He talked to me down at the beach the other day.
What did?
See.
A seagull.
Yes.
So what were you saying, Bruce?
Oh, well, you know, initially I started reading all these books. David Wallace gave me 3 that were the most profound books for him. And I read a couple. You know, I started listening to a lot of the spiritual teachers like Adyashanti, a bit of Eckhart Tolle. I started listening to lots of those. And then Linda gave me a very, very good book of Adyashanti's, which I got halfway through, and then I just stopped.
Yeah.
And I'm now, you know, like bloody listening to audio books of PJ Wodehouse.
Yeah.
You know, like total triviality, really. But it's
But fun.
yeah, and it doesn't matter. You
No.
know? It's like don't get too caught up in being serious or trying to go anywhere or achieve anything. Or yeah, it's simple, really, but we overcomplicate things.
We do. We overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
So what I hear you possibly saying there is that there's value in that because you're valuing your own learning and your own, the place that you are at yourself
Yeah.
when you die. And to me that's a spiritual perspective in itself, even if you don't know what happens afterwards. There's some value in just who you become
Yeah, that's
in the process.
yeah. It's just recognise the innate human being that was there when you were born, you know, and then we get all this accumulated stuff through our life that we picked up from other people of who we are, who we should be, what we should do in our career, and you know, all those things we picked up along the way, and in fact it's just tossing all that away and going back to being that 3-year-old child again, you know. We just enjoy hiding under a bush or looking at the sky or climbing up a tree or